Hi guys, my name is Toubie and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button so you can see other beautiful bags and shoes that I'll be sharing with you on this platform. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to make the Colcel bag. This is one of my favorite designs. I made this bag and the pattern is available for purchase. You will find the link in the description of this video. Please do well to get the pattern and I would love to see your beautiful makes from this pattern. So let's get right into making the Colcel bag by Toubie. This is a functional bag made of vinyl, African print called Ankara. Actually it's two colors of vinyl and you can see where I joined them at the back. But let's get right into making the Colcel bag. Okay, so the first step is to cut out your interface. And for my interface, I made use of the EVA foam, 1 mm thick. It is 1 mm thick. It's not too thick. It is very, very light. As you can see, it is just 1 mm. I want something that is not so hard on your machine to work with. Alternatively, you can use this cellulose board, the one that is very light also. This is 1 mm. You can use something like this, the normal cellulose board, or you make use of the EVA foam like I did, which is 1 mm thick. You can see the thickness. It is not thick at all. It is very, very light. So it's the lightest of them all. So you can also use other, lightweight interfacing that would still give your bag the structure you want, but not so thick. So we're going to use our patterns now to cut out the different parts of the bag on our interfacing. I'll be using this for my own interfacing. Right, so I have cut my interfacing on my EVA foam. You can see I cut them in parts, but alternatively also you can decide to draw all of them together as one single panel, but I like to cut my own in different parts so that when I'm folding, I like to have those sharp edges when I fold the bag later in the process of making the bag. So that is why I like to have them in different parts. Also, you can decide to be creative and want to change your cover in future. So it's an easy way for you to just change the cover pattern and then come up with a different bag. So that is why I like to have different parts. You could just draw everything as one, join all your patterns together when drawing to have a single panel, a single interfacing, but I just like to cut my own in different parts. So you'll find the guide in the pattern booklet on how to cut each of these and arrange them this way. So that is that about our interfacing. So we are moving to the next part now. So I have cut out my vinyls using the measurements in the pattern. You can find the measurements for this in the pattern booklet. So it's a two-colored bag, and that is why I have two colors of vinyl. So whatever fabric you want to use, whatever vinyl you want to use, you want to make sure that you have two colors. You can actually make it with one color, but the beauty of the bag is in the mixture of colors. And no, we're still going to have like an inlay somewhere around the flap. This is the flap area for the bag, and this part covers the back, the front, and the base of the bag. So now we are going to sew. We're going to put them right side together and then sew this at 1/4 of an inch down. So we want to attach both of them together. So we are going to place them this way, and where this is meeting, we're going to sew it at 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go sew it now, and then we continue. Okay, so I have sewn both parts together. You can see they have been sewn together. Don't forget to reinforce both ends so that it doesn't come loose while you're working. So now we want to apply glue to this side and this side of the vinyl so that we can fold this way. So we're going to apply glue here and we're going to apply glue here. The aim of that is to make sure that everything is flat. You don't want the bag to have a lump like this when you are done working. So I'm going to apply glue to this part and this part, and then I'm going to fold it this way to make it very flat. Okay, so we have applied glue and everything is folded on each other like so. You can see this is the front of the bag. You can see how flat it is now, so there is no bulge on it. So you can decide to do a top stitch on this part of the vinyl, but I am not doing any top stitch. I just want it to be like both vinyl met at that point, so I'm not going to top stitch. I don't want any stitch to be at the back of the bag, so that is all I am doing for this part. Okay, so the next step is to trace your interface on your vinyl at the wrong side of your vinyl. You want to trace each part of your interface on the vinyl. So I have done that already. You can see this is the flap area, this is the top area, this is the back of a bag, this is the base, and this is the front. So you want to trace that at the wrong side of your vinyl. You can see, so I think 1 inch from the edge, you can see everything is right at the center of the whole piece. So you want to make sure that everything is sitting this way. Do not worry about this joining. That is part of the design of the bag, so that where we have that joining of both vinyl is going to actually add to the beauty. So do not worry about this. Just make sure you trace each part of your interface on this. So the next part is to cut out the inlay. You want to cut out the inlay that is at this point. So right now we are going to trace the pattern for our inlay. We're going to trace it like so. It should be at least 2 inches from the corners of the top and the sides. You place your pattern 2 inches away from the top and the side. So this is the pattern for this first line, is the pattern for the inlay. So we are going to add 1/4 of an inch. The second line is an addition, a 1/4 of an inch on all sides. The purpose of that is so that when we cut this, we are going to fold this onto the line that we have drawn. So we are going to cut this now and then fold onto the extra lines that we have drawn around. Remember to place your pattern at 2 inches away from the sides and the top of the bag so that it can align properly. So let's cut this. Is to apply glue onto this part, round the space. We want to apply glue so we can fold onto the bag like so. Remember, we are notching this side so that you can easily bend them. Don't forget to notch the corners of the bag so you can really fold them conveniently. So let's apply glue. So depending on the kind of glue you have, you might want to wait a little bit for the glue to dry properly so you can start to fold inwards like that. Now we're going to fold the edges of our inlay. Remember, it's 1/4 of an inch, so you do not want to fold it too much. You just want to fold on that line that you have. So having done that, you want to turn, and you can see this is what we have here. So that is how you fold it. You can see we follow the line. Now we are going to cut our piece, the fabric we are going to cover this part with. The edges of your vinyl, you want to trim all the edges to at least 1 inch. 1 inch. You want to make all this line to be 1 inch away from all the sides. Currently it's a rectangle, so we want to make sure that everything is following the lines that we have drawn from our interface. So we want to trim all sides to be 1 inch away from all lines drawn. So it's inch all around. So we have cut all sides of our vinyl to be 1 inch away from the lines that we previously drew. So this is what your vinyl should look like after cutting all sides to be 1 inch away from the drawn line. So you can see when we turn it, this is how the right side looks like, and then this is how the wrong side looks like. So using our pattern for the inlay, we are going to cut out the fabric that we want to use for the flap, that different fabric. So we have used our pattern now to cut it out. This is how it should look like. It's like a pentagon. So this is what it should look like. Now you know this is going into the flap. Now you put your flap this way. You apply glue to the edges of this cut place. This place that has been bent, you apply glue around it. Now, taking the right side of your fabric, this the right side of your fabric, you are also going to apply glue to the edge of the right side of your fabric. Remember, this is the wrong side. You apply glue on this part that you have bent, and then apply glue to the right side of your fabric for the inlay, so that we can piece them carefully together. You might want to iron this with an iron to make it straight if your fabric is not smooth enough. So let's apply glue onto this part and apply glue onto the edge of this part, the right side. Remember, the right side of this part, so that we can piece them together. I've applied glue, and you can see the back. You can see the back, and this is the front. Our main panel is looking beautiful already, but we are going to top stitch round. We want to top stitch round this so we can actually hold this in place. Also, if your fabric is very light, you might want to maybe use a Decovil light to stabilize it or something, but I didn't use any of that for this because my fabric is just fine. So we want to top stitch round like this. So let's do that right away. This is what we have when we top stitch the inlay. This is what we have. So we have top stitched it round, and this is what we have. So the next step now is to attach our interface to the wrong side of our vinyl. So we are going to attach our interface on these lines that we have previously drawn using a glue. So we're applying glue on our interface and on this part. So let's do it right away. So right now we want to piece the interface. We're going to arrange both parts. We can see our parts like so, like so, like so. So now we want to arrange them based on the lines that we had before. So carefully place them this way. Carefully take the top of your bag, arrange it this way neatly. You can see Now if you have a roller, you might want to brush up everything with your roller. Just make sure everything is smooth, and then this is what we have. So make sure everything is smooth. You want to press it. So right now we want to apply glue to the edges of both our interface and the edge of this vinyl, so that we can fold all parts round the bag. So what we're gonna do now is apply glue onto this leftover. You could use a double-sided tape to hold it down, but I would prefer using a glue. So you apply glue round the leftover of the vinyl and to the edges of your interface, so that we can fold onto the interface this way. So let's go apply glue. So we want to cut off all these vinyl poking out from the edges of where we have folded. We want to cut them off. So we are going to get our scissors and then cut it off. So right now we want to install our purse feet or the bag feet. We're going to use our pattern to mark the holes where the purse feet is going to stay, and also mark the part where we are going to attach our invincible connector. So we're going to get our pattern now to mark the holes. I've made the holes and I've marked out the point. This is the point using our pattern. This is the point where the invincible connector is going to go through, and these are the points where our bottom bag feet is going to be. So you want to make a hole there. You want to punch this. You want to punch this, and also this. So I'm gonna get my knife now, and then I'm going to cut through these parts. These are the pieces for the invincible connector. We're going to apply glue and then fold to the center. You can use a double-sided tape to hold them at this point, so you can fold to the center this way, but I love to use glue to do that. Then so right now we're going to fold inwards like so, and you're going to set it apart. Take these two like this, and then we have two of this. So this is our purse feet. We want to install them this way. So on the holes we have made, we are going to put this, insert these, and these into the holes we have made. So you want to, depending on the kind of purse fit you have, so you want to cover this part. We apply glue to this side and this side, so we just want to seal that off like this and seal it off like this, just to hide that. Okay, piece for the bag handle, you use your pattern to cut that. The measurement is right there in the pattern, so you cut this. Now remember, our bag is having two colors, so you want the handle, the bag handle, to be the second color. Well, depending on your choice, but you just want to have a kind of balance. That is why I use the second vinyl. So we are going to apply glue to this. I have already done that. We apply glue to this and then we fold it to meet at the center, just like we did with the invincible connector. So I have applied glue to this one. I am going to make sure that they meet neatly at the center, like so. Carefully. So we have this. So this is gonna be our strap. So right now we are gonna take our rectangle rings and insert it to both ends of the bag handle, at least 1 inch. You move it to 1 inch, then you just want to place it this way. You can use a double-sided tape to hold that in place, or just a drop of your glue to seal that in place. You do the same thing for this side. You take it to 1 inch from the end, and then you use a drop of your glue to hold it in place like this. So we have our bag handle. This is the bag handle. Now we have used glue to hold these parts in place. You can see. Now we have this as the lining for the bag handle. So what you want to do is to sew these on top of the lining, and then you cut off the excesses. So you want to sew this on this place. You might want to use a double-sided tape to hold this in place and then clip it, or you use a glue like me to hold this in place. So let's do that. We have sewn this. So right now we're gonna cut. Be careful while you cut off the excess lining. Of course, it's the same vinyl that was used as the lining. So we want to cut that off. Be careful not to cut off your stitch. Be careful not to cut off your stitch. So we have our bag handle. You can see. So this is what our handle looks like. So you take those pieces that we did the other time, and then you insert into this place like so. Insert these. Remember, you are inserting it this way, yeah? do not make a mistake of putting the wrong sides to be at the top. So it's going to be wrong sides touching each other. Now we are going to insert it into this part of our bag where we made a hole the other time. So we are going to insert it like this. You might need something to push it in. You want to tuck that in quietly. So we quickly repeat that for the second side. So now this is our bag handle. It has been inserted. So you want to use a glue to hold this in place. You use a super glue to hold it in place this way. You can decide to use a rivet, but I just do not like using rivets for my bag because I just want them to be this way. So I trust my super glue so much to hold them in place. So that is why I do not like using rivets. I try as much as possible to limit my use of rivet. I use it sometimes where it is very, very necessary, but for parts like the handle, I just want my bag to be as cool as possible. If I have to put a rivet, that means I'm going to be buying both sides, and I do not want that. Though you can do your bag like that, but I think I prefer my bag this way. And it is very, very strong. It is very, very strong, so it's not going to pull out. I've not had any issues of my handles pulling off, so that is why I prefer using this method. So make sure it is like that, and then we have that part. So we are done with the main panel. We have our handle, we have our back stand, and so let's move on to the next phase. Our bag is coming together gradually. So we are going to cut our flap lining. You first mark out the pattern of your flap lining. This is the pattern, and then you add 0.3 inch round, not round, sorry, to the sides and the top. Sides and the top, you are adding 0.3 inch extra. This is the pattern of the lining for the flap. Then we are adding an extra 0.3 inch. So right now we are going to be applying glue round about it so we can fold. Alternatively, you can use a double-sided tape to hold it in place, but I am going to use a glue to fold it onto the line like this. Let's fold it. Remember, the line is the point where you fold. You are going to make this angle this way, so like so. We're going to make this part like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, this, like this. So you want to cut this off, cut that off, and you want to cut that off. So this is our flap line. You can see it should match up like this, exactly the way it is. You can see all sides should match up. You can see. So this is how it should look like when you are done with the flap line. We use our pattern to mark the points of the magnetic snap, and we are going to just make a hole right there, make a hole right there, like this, like that. So we want to take our magnetic snap and insert the male part, of the magnetic snap. You want to take your washer and then insert that like this. You want to repeat it for the other side where you made the holes. And have like this. So we have the part of magnetic snap started. So now we are going to get our line for the remaining part. Now use your pattern to trace out the lining on the wrong side of your lining, but remember to add 0.3 inches all around. You're tracing it on the wrong side, then you add 0.3 all around, and then you fold all the edges. We are going to fold all the edges after applying glue. So we mark 0.3 inches, inch, 0.3 inch away from the base of the flap, and then you apply your glue, your fabric glue, or your double-sided tape, and then you have this like that. So now we are trying to attach the main lining to the flap lining, so you can see that. So we want to sew top stitch. We want to top stitch this piece like this across, so to hold the main lining to the flap lining. So using our pattern also, we are going to cut out this part, which is the zipper overlay, and we are going to place it this way, 1 inch away from this seam. We are placing it 1 inch away from this. Let it be centered. You can put it double-sided tape to hold it in place. So you make sure it is centered, 1 inch away from here, and make sure it is centered. So now we want to take it to our machine and sew round. We want to sew just the outer part. We are not stitching this part, no, not yet. We're just going to sew round about it, the edge alone. You are not going to stitch this part. So let's take this to our machine now and then sew round. Do not stitch the split yet. We're sewing round. So we want to cut this. It's been sewn at the edges, just the edge. You can see we didn't sew this part. So we are going to create a window. We're going to cut a window in this place like so. Careful. You want to cut. Be careful not to cut out your stitch. You can see it. Be careful not to cut out your stitches. Okay, like this, round out. Like this. Get my tape out of the way. So I just want to cut this round. Be careful not to cut out the zipper overlay. You just want to cut it round like so. So there you go. So we have created a window on this part. We are gonna stitch. We are taking our main pocket now. This is the main pocket of our bag. So we are gonna stitch this part to this part, and then when we are done, we are also going to stitch this part like this. We are stitching it this way. So you first stitch this part top stitch this, then you come over here and then top stitch this part again. So let's go do that. So we have sewn our zipper onto the pocket. We can see this is the wrong side. Our zipper is sewn this way. So right now we want to attach to this lining piece. So how we do that is we are going to take this part upwards like so. You can see we're placing the pocket upwards. Let the zipper be down like this, and then you are going to put it on that lining piece that way. See? Yes. So we can see how it is. When you raise this up, you cannot see your zipper because it's taking up. So that is how we want it to be. You it up first, and then you want to sew just a straight line, down first, just a straight line down. So let's go and sew this part of the zipper pocket. So we're just going to sew this part. Okay, so right now we have sewn just this base, this line below the zip. You can see, remember we took the pocket up. So right now we are going to drop the pocket down. We're going to drop it down. You can see we're going to drop it down and then go on to sew this place. We're going to drop it down, then we'll go ahead and sew this side. You start from the side up, then to the side again. Remember we have sewn this just now, so we're going to start from the side. You take it up and then sew the side again. So let's do that. So we have sewn the sides, the top and the side of the zipper overlay, like we said. We have sewn the top and the side. Now we want to sew the side part of the pocket itself. We're going to raise that up like that, out of the way, and sew the sides of the pocket. We are going to cut that off, the excesses, cut it away after you have sewn the sides. You're going to lift your lining up like that and then sew the sides. This part, sorry, where I have my flatbed is kind of dark, so and it's not going to make a very clear video. That is why I am not recording that part, but they are very simple, process to sewing this side. So let's go sew. Yeah, so we have stitched the sides of our zipper parts and we have cut out the excesses. As you can see in the video, it's been sewn neatly. Like I said, sorry I couldn't record all the parts where I used my flatbed to sew because it's dark there. That is why I could not take the camera to that place, but everywhere I used my flatbed, they are just simple places to sew. So that is all you have when you sew the sides. This is the wrong side. See how neat it is. These are my side panels. I've used the pattern to trace out the side panel, but please, you're going to add 0.3 inch all around the panel, all around the pattern. I beg your pardon, all around the pattern. So this is our pattern for the side panel. We are cutting 2 for both sides, and we have marked out where we are going to have our invincible connector, or for the side chain, just like we did for the invincible connector. It's going to go into this place. So what we want to do right now is to fold this place. We want to fold it around. You can use your double-sided tape or your glue. So this is my side panel and the vinyl. So, and I'm using this to attach the side chain. So right now we are going to apply glue all around so we can fold all of this part. Don't worry about this angle, we're coming back to this part later, but we just want to fold all the sides. Alright, so this is both piece of our side panels, and we have marked where we are going to put the invincible connector for the sides. So right now we are just going to put this like so, this way. Okay, and then we're going to insert it into these holes that we have made. So this is going to go inside of that place. So we're going to do for both panels, we're going to insert that into the sides. Now do not forget about this angle that we have here. We are still going to make use of that later on. So let's insert this into the sides that we have marked out with our patterns. You might want to put a glue on this to hold it in place before inserting it to the sides, like so. You just want to have it in place, so you just want to have it's optional though, but I like to put glue in it so that you can just go into it without any stress. So we insert it this way, you can see. So I am going to use my pattern to mark the point where the rivet is going to stay. So I'll repeat for this one also, and then I'm going to insert my rivet. So we have the pattern for our side lining traced out. What you want to do is to fold the sides, but you can see my lining is not so thick, so you might want to use a non-woven fusible interfacing for the side lining. If your lining is soft like mine, you just want to glue it to the lining and then fold on top of it. So you just want to get something that is lightweight. That is if your lining is not thick enough, so you might want to add a lightweight interfacing for the side so that you can have a little bit of thickness around it. So you're going to glue this to your lining and then fold on the edges and then cut off these angles, cut it off on the line, cut it off on the line. So let's do that. So we have folded our lining onto our lightweight interfacing. We are yet to fold this one, so we're just going to fold these onto this part. You can see we have cut out our edges. Now we're going to place this on top of our side panel. That is how it is going to be. So let's go on to fold this, and then we're going to place it on this when we are done folding. So we're just going to fold. So we have right now we have attached our lining to our side panels, and if you can see our lining is not getting to the end of the side panel. You can see, do not allow your lining to touch the edge. It shouldn't get to the edge for both of them. If this is the top, we're gonna stitch this right at this point. We're gonna top stitch this place, and then we're gonna sew on this angle like so. Just want to catch it like this and sew on this straight line here. You want to sew, catch this angle like this. You do that for both. Where we have that angle, you just want to hold it like this and then stitch like a dart, just want to stitch on it like that. So let's go top stitch this place. So we have top stitched our side panel, and we have sewn these edges like this, where that line is starting from. This is how it should look like after sewing. So right now we want to cut this. You are not cutting from the seam, just move up maybe like 0.3 inch away from the seam that you have, so you do not cut on your seam. So let's cut all 4 angles, and let me show you. Okay, so you can see the way this is cut. There's a little bit of allowance here, so that when we are trying to piece everything together, you will see the reason why we have this. So you want this to be able to go down like this while we are trying to piece everything together. That is why we have that little bit of allowance. And then you just, you know, there's a cut in the slope, but be careful not to cut off your seam. Be careful not to cut off your seam. So we have done that to all 4 edges, like this, like this. So let's move on to the next part. Now we want to attach our body lining, the lining of the main panel, onto the main panel. So what you want to do is to apply glue just on the flap and the top of the bag. You can see it. You are not going to let the glue cross, just on the flap and at the top of the main panel. Also here, you apply glue to just the flap lining. Do not allow the glue extend to this place. And so whenever you are sure that your glue is set, you can then go ahead and carefully place it. Carefully place it like so. Like so. Make sure it is aligned. Make sure it is aligning. Okay. Like so. Like so. Like so. And press it down carefully. Yeah. So there we go. We have, you can see, we have attached both sides. Now you can see it is not extending to the back and aligning. So that is the first step that we want to do. So the next step now is to attach, you know, the male part of the magnetic snap. We want to attach the male part of the magnetic snap. So you just want to use this one to mark it right here. You just want to mark it with this. You know, you want to press it so that the male part can make a mark on the body of the bag, so you can know where to insert your snap. After you have used the male parts to mark, you want to bore. Remember, we have removed our lining away, so you want to bore where the female magnetic pin is going to go through. So, like so, and like so. So, you want to check before moving on. You can see. You want to check and make sure. All right. So we have this. So you just want to check if it's sitting properly. You want to check. Okay. You can see my bag is I think it's okay now. I think my bag is set. You can see. So it means I placed it well. So you want to go ahead and insert your washer and bend it. Careful. So this is what we have. So right now you can see we have attached our female part, and we used the male part to measure it. So you just want that to sit. I want to check again to make sure it's sitting properly on my bag before I proceed. So let's move on. So the next part now is to apply glue to the edges of your main panel, to the edges of your lining, round about, just the edge all round. You're not applying glue to the main body now, just the edge of everything that you have. So when you do that, the goal is to make the lining, be at the center of your main piece. So we are going to go apply glue now roundabout and at the edge of our lining piece too. So right now we have attached our main body lining to our main panel. As you can see, there's a little, it's not getting to the edge. It's not getting to the edge. It's not getting to the edge. It's about a few centimeters away from the edge, a few centimeters away from the edge. So we have that all around. Now we want to go top stitch this part. We want to top stitch this part of our main panel. Then we are going to attach the sides of our bag. So let's go top stitch this part of our bag. So please make sure when you are putting your lining, it doesn't get to the edge completely. There's a little space at the sides, but it doesn't matter if it gets to the top here. So you can, the main thing is that the lining is not going above the main panel, so that when we turn it over, we are not seeing the lining, and when we have a bag complete, we are not seeing the lining come out of the edges. So let's go sew this place. Top stitched this place, that is the front, just this place alone. You can see just this place. We are not stitching the covers, the flap yet. We are not doing that yet. So we're just top stitching this place, and then we are going to hold our side panels to the bag. You can see we're going to be using our clips to do that. So let's get our clips. So you want to hold them in place before sewing it together. So you just start here at the top and go all the way around, so that you can stitch together. So you can see I have clipped the edge of my bag. You want to do that for all sides so that we can go and top stitch around the bag. So, and then including the flap, we are top stitching this way. So I'm going to use my cylinder arm to top stitch round and the flap. So because it might be too much of a load for your flatbed, so it could give you a little bit of challenge. So that is why I want to use my cylinder arm. What I like to do is to start from this part. Move your clips, go along, move my clips. first, we have the sides of the bag, right? Go moving on, back stitch. So go all the way carefully. We're gonna turn this, like so. So there we go. We have our bag ready. So one flip. Okay. So we want to attach the side chains to it. Our chain to the hook. So you want to open this part of the chain and insert this in and then close it. You want to close it back. You open this other end too, insert it and close it. So there you go, we have secured the edges of our chain. So right now you just want to attach it to the sides. To the sides. So there you go. Our Colcel bag is complete. I hope you did enjoy watching this video. I'll be waiting for you to subscribe and follow for more content like this.